The new single, it felt a lot heavier than kind of the stuff that you'd released so far, and you've had to kind of draw things back a little bit, pull things back a little bit. It's weird because I interview a lot of horror directors who I ask them where the limits are for kind of gore and stuff like that. Where do you draw the line between going too heavy and not too heavy?
It's a fine line.
Hello, Brandon. How you doing, sir?
How we doing?
I'm good. How you doing? Long time no see. How you been? How you been keeping?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How you been?
Been good. Yeah. Thanks very much for reaching out. I didn't even know you had a single coming out, to be honest. So thanks very much for reaching out and letting me know.
No problem at all.
Can't wait to hear it.
Hello.
Kiaran, sir. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. Sorry I'm late. I was driving.
Yeah, I couldn't
thought
tell.
I'd be back in time, to be fair.
How you doing, man? Good to see you. Nice to meet you. I spoke to Brandon last time, so it's good to see you as well. How you doing?
Yeah, good to see you, mate.
One of the things that I've been seeing flying around on Instagram and Twitter and things is that nobody's ready for this, and it's going to be your biggest tune to date. So can you tell us a little bit more about what that means to you, what that means for fans, and why do you think it's going to be it is the biggest tune for you today for the Sherlocks?
I think, to be honest with you, can you hear me okay? Or is it
Yeah,
laggy?
perfectly. Yeah, perfectly well, yeah.
Yeah, I think for the first time probably the first time, I think we're carrying a lot of momentum this time. You do your debut and it's a massive thing, but I think we took too long at maybe getting a second album out. And we've realised now, we didn't realise at the time just how much momentum plays a part in everything. And then the third album, it were obviously not our fault because we went into like COVID times and stuff like that. So that set us back slightly. And then, these last two albums, the third and the fourth, even though you hadn't heard the newest stuff yet, I just feel like it feels like a new era for us almost. Like I don't know, it's just probably the momentum and spending that time out in COVID, realised how much we actually missed it, and we're all just up for it now. So that's the reason we've got back in studio. Months after his third album, was straight back in studio recording again. So, like I say, between second and third album, that was sort of out of our hands anyway. So we wanted to just, especially after the third album came out as well, I feel like not only had we missed it, as fans had missed it. So we were like, I don't know, probably as relevant as ever. That's what it felt like. It felt like as fans were like just proper up for it. So the least we could do whilst we got songs knocking about is just get straight back in and be a bit more proactive at getting music out a lot more.
I was just speaking to Brandon about it a little bit, and he said that the new single, it felt a lot heavier than kind of the stuff that you'd released so far, and you've had to kind of draw things back a little bit, pull things back a little bit. It's weird because I interview a lot of horror directors who I ask them where the limits are for kind of gore and stuff like that. Where do you draw the line between going too heavy and not too heavy?
It's a fine line.
I think we know though, don't we?
Yeah, I think if you can get to a point where you feel slightly uncomfortable, where you're on the edge of like, as long as you're not sat in a comfortable spot, just thinking, oh yeah, this is us. I think it's always a good thing to try and push yourself. So I think maybe we did have to draw it back slightly because it was rocking hell of a lot, but
yeah, it got the point where we drew it back was when we were all laughing at how heavy it was, and then we thought we don't want it to become a joke for us, so we're gonna have to draw it back a little bit.
Were there any discussions between the four of you? Because I imagine all four of you have got different musical tastes. Now, some of you are probably heavier than others. So was it a difficult kind of decision to reach a veto to decide just where to draw the line, or does Kiaran kind of have the last say in things?
It were Al, to be fair, weren't it? I think I made a remark, like we were all in room, and I just made a remark saying this literally sounds like us when we're having a laugh in band practice, trying to be in heavy band. Like I'll do like halftime or something, and they'll really just start rocking, and then we were all having a laugh. And then I think later on in the day, Al come up to me and went, "I've been thinking about what you said, and I think we need to draw it back a little bit because I don't want it to become like a your lot to think it were a joke." Because to be fair, if we'd have got to mixing stage like that anyway, I think we'd have drawn it back as self naturally. But
right.
We ended up having a bit of a discussion with everyone, and we decided to take it more down like a Kasabian kind of route, like that
right.
kind of like indie, like it's still rocking, but it's not. Don't sound silly now. It sounds like an absolute monster, to be fair.
I know you worked again recently with Dave Ehringer. Would you say that had anything to do with it? Obviously, he's worked with like the likes of Manic Street Preachers, who are very, very hard rock. Would you say that played into it at all?
We didn't use Dave on this album.
Not this time now, but having just recently worked with him, do you think that maybe kind of bled into this a little bit?
I think so, because I think the second record we went a little bit softer with guitar sounds, hell of a lot softer, to be honest. Like his first album is sort of like a staple sound, like just as blueprint, and then the second album, I think we tried a few things which were good to try, but one thing I think we lost were his guitar sounds. Like we're like an anthemic indie rock band, and I just don't think the guitars sound that good on second album. Even now, I think we could have done a better job, but obviously you're not going to sit and worry about that. The second album was what it was, but I think his third album, I think we smashed that with, and probably down to Ehringer, yeah. Like even the way he works, he lines up every single guitar amp in sight and cranks them all on 10, and then blends them and stuff like that, which was fun to do after not having done it for a while. So probably going into this fourth album, and like Brandon said, Al's a bit. He's worked with like Bring Me the Horizon and stuff like that, and slightly heavier stuff than us anyway. So I think it was naturally going to get a little bit heavier, but it was just where to draw the line. But I think we got a good balance now.
And did you find that going into kind of a heavier realm, Kiaran, you kind of discovered new ways of approaching your vocals at all?
Not so much the vocals. It depends on each tune, to be honest. Like lyric wise, that can change quite a bit. Like depending on the tune. Like Sirens is pretty. It's pretty fast paced and a bit. It sounds like an angry tune, to be honest. It's full of energy. So the lyrics on that didn't need to be super serious or about a story in particular. It just needed to match the energy of the tune. But now vocal wise, just singing how I always do. I'm not screaming yet. I might do a bit of scream on the next record.
No falsettos yet, no. Kiaran, you mentioned the kind of like you're not that happy with the second album, but it is what it is, and it's out there, and you can't do anything about it. What songs can fans expect when you do go on tour? Will you be playing some of the first and second album as well, or will you be maybe changing the second tunes from the second album up a little bit to kind of fit in more with your current sound?
Yeah, I think we've always played like what's considered our classics, like what people want to hear. But I think we haven't wrote set list yet, like, but we'll. I think we're on about changing a few up and play some that we haven't played in ages, which were always a lot of fun to play off first and second album.
I imagine you've been taking a few tips from your Sheffield mates, the Ratons, who've got out a number one right now. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Not to get that, no label, no backing, no nothing, and then straight up to the top. So that must be kind of pleasing to hear for you that, you know, because you're going to be doing the same thing pretty soon, that I imagine you've taken quite a few tips off them and then kind of deciding how you're going to go about promoting it, no?
Yeah, definitely. And it just shows that because the Ratings and bands like that, we're all in the same sort of circle. Like, we're all like guitar bands and stuff like that. So it just shows the fans are out there, support, like buying your record and stuff, which is, it's encouraging for us, because we want obviously everybody to buy his album, and we rely on, same as Ratings, we know label, we rely on fan power. Basically everybody not just saying it but actually buying your record and coming to your gigs, and that's how we're able to keep doing what we do and love. So but yeah, fair play to Ratings doing that.
Definitely.
I get about going back to him, like the helping each other out. I give him a ring earlier, Johnny, from Ratings, and we were on phone just discussing like different options, like where to get his vinyl from because obviously we're self-funding the album itself. Right. So he shared where he were getting his on the last album, and we're just chatting all music and stuff. But they're really good guys, and it is good to see like independent music flying again, to be fair, because even the week before, Cortina's #1, Ratings this week. It's good to see like guitar music at top rather than all that pop rubbish.
No, yeah, but it's just really promising to see that, like, just with hard grafting and got these pop-up shops in Meadow Hall and just hard work, you can beat even the big guns out there.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's brilliant.
It's not, it's not easy, but it's not easy, but
it's doable.
It's doable, yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
I think that's the reason we've done it on his own label again as well. It's more rewarding, you know, doing it like when we got his chart position. Like we just all dug in deep that last week, and we were absolutely exhausted by Henry. I don't think we could have done any more. And when we got his position, that felt like a #1 to us because we'd done it all on his own, and it were just us and fans, and it's definitely more rewarding knowing you've done it on your own terms rather than relying on a big label machine pumping loads of money into it.
And something that's a lot better. I mean, back in the 90s, I remember there's always kind of rivalry between all the Britpop bands and stuff like that. But this time around, I mean, I saw on Twitter you were supporting the Ratings and helping to get to #1. There's a lot more camaraderie between the groups nowadays. That really, really helps benefit you guys kind of getting to the top of the charts nowadays, right?
Yeah, but I think the main difference is, like, us as bands are like, we're a lot smaller than, say, like if you're referring to like Oasis and Blur, they'd have been on major labels. Like, they were probably just doing it. I think I've watched a few things on it where they were doing it just to pump each other up. Like, they needed each other to get bigger anyway. But why not help each other out? We're all in the same boat, and that we're all in the same game, and it don't hurt to show a bit of support to bands who are doing it properly.
Yeah, because I've seen on Spotify you've recently created your own playlist, but not of your songs, but of tracks of other groups that you think people should be listening to. That's a question that I'd like to ask guests on here. I mean, just from recent last couple of years or so, which groups would you recommend that people listen to that aren't getting enough recognition that they deserve?
We like the Lilacs. I think they're from Wigan. Yeah, they're a great band. They've really they supported us in Manchester. They supported in Manchester twice, I think. We had them on at the Albert Hall gig, and they were buzzing for that. And they're a great band. There seems to be a bit of music. Same place as Latham's, I think, as well.
Yeah, the Latham's are there, and Stanley's from over there as well. Yeah,
they're really sound guys as well. So I think who else? It's out off your head, to be fair. A band called Skylights, we played with us before. If you've heard of them, they're good. They're good guys.
Because I was looking at your playlist. You got the Lilacs, Stanley's, Curse, Andrew Cushion. There's a lot of bands up there.
Stanley's. We met
Stanley's are from Wigan as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was my
I
very,
think
that
we
was my
just
very
like
first
those guys.
interview on here. Yeah, it was they're a great band.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're really nice guys. We spent a bit of time with. I think the guitarist for filling in for Lavums at Reading and
he
Leeds.
was. That's right. Yeah, he's done a few
Yeah.
stints for them when the guitarist left them. Yeah.
And we had a few beers with him over that weekend. But really, really nice guys. It's good to see they're doing well as well.
Best of luck with this with the single. I can't wait to hear it. I'm going to listen to it now. Brendan's just given me
Yeah.
a link to it, and I'll write a review of it before it comes out on Friday. Take care. Thanks very much again for your time. All the very best.
No
See you
worries.
later,
Cheers then,
buddy.
guys.
All right.
Cheers then. Bye
Crank
now.
it up.